Winter, 1959. 9 hikers trek into Russia's Ural Mountains. Young, strong, experienced. They set out with skis, tents, and supplies. Their leader, Igor Dyatlov, a seasoned student with adventure in his blood. The group laughed, sang, and posed for photos. They planned to earn elite hiking certificates. But instead, they walked into a legend. A mystery no one has solved. A story now whispered around the world. Their path took them into deep snow. Bitter winds bit through their clothes. Still they pressed on. This was no vacation. It was grueling. But the group trusted each other. They kept journals. They snapped photos. Those images still survive today. They smile at us across decades. Happy, alive, not knowing what awaited them. On February 1st, they pitched their last camp. A slope on Kalatsayakal, the mountain of the dead in Mansi legend. A bleak, treeless slope. Freezing winds howled that night. The tent stood firm, but by morning, silence. When they failed to return, a search began. Days stretched into weeks. Rescuers scoured the mountains. Helicopters circled. Foot patrols marched through snow. Finally, they found the tent. It was slashed open. From the inside, clothes and boots were left behind, supplies untouched. Panic hung in the air. What had made 9 trained hikers flee barefoot into snow? Their tracks led downhill. To the edge of the forest, their 2 bodies lay under a cedar tree, barefoot, in their underwear. A small fire smoldered nearby. Their hands were burned black, their skin blue with frost. 3 more bodies were found in between, frozen in strange poses, as if crawling back toward camp. The last 4 hikers were missing. For 2 more months, the search dragged on. In May, their bodies were found in a ravine. And here the mystery deepened. 1 hiker's skull was fractured, another's ribs crushed. 2 were missing their eyes. 1 woman had no tongue, yet their clothes showed no external wounds, as if something smashed them from the inside. Radiation was detected on their clothes. Where had it come from? Theories exploded like fireworks, an avalanche, secret military tests, UFOs, a Yeti attack. Locals whispered of spirits in the mountain. Officials rushed to close the case. Their verdict: a compelling natural force. That vague phrase only fueled more speculation. Families demanded answers. Journalists chased rumors, but the Soviet state kept files locked. For decades, the Dyatlov Pass Incident remained a cold case. Then came whispers of declassification. In recent years, new documents surfaced. Scientists, historians, and conspiracy theorists reopened the mystery. Old photos were analyzed again, journals reread with fresh eyes, and wild new theories emerged, not about Yetis or aliens, but about weapons. Strange secret weapons. Some say the hikers walked into a Soviet experiment. Others say they were test subjects without knowing it. Infrared beams, infrasound waves, even chemical tests gone wrong. It sounds like science fiction, but documents hint otherwise. This isn't folklore. It's history with holes. Holes where answers should be. And into those holes, theories crawl. That's where we go next. Into the world of secret weapons and the new, darker theories of the Dyatlov Pass Incident. Let's start with the weapon test theory. Suggests the hikers stumbled into a classified experiment. The Ural Mountains were remote, perfect for secret trials. Locals reported strange lights in the sky that winter. Bright orbs, fireballs, even glowing trails. Could they have been missile tests? Or flares dropped from planes? If so, the hikers were unlucky witnesses. The theory claims they panicked at explosions overhead. Their tent slashes weren't madness. They were desperate escapes. They ran barefoot into the night, away from falling fire. But why the bizarre injuries? That's where blast waves enter. Shockwaves from explosions can crush bones. Without leaving marks on skin, exactly what rescuers described. The missing eyes and tongue. Wildlife, scavengers, decomposition. Still gruesome, but natural. Radiation traces. Military equipment or contaminated snow. Not alien beams, just fallout. That's one theory. But it isn't the only one. Enter the infrared weapons idea. This theory is spookier. Imagine experimental beams invisible to the eye. Radiation strong enough to disorient or heat. directed energy prototypes. If the hikers were exposed, they might panic, their skin burned, their clothes glowing faintly with radiation. State covered it up. Because the test was classified sounds far-fetched. Maybe, but Cold War tech projects were stranger. And the Soviets were racing for super weapons. Microwave and infrared experiments were whispered about. They stayed whispers for decades, until fragments appeared in declassified files. Could Dyatlov's group have wandered into a test zone that would explain the secrecy in the vague official ruling? Compelling natural force sounds like a cover. Then there's the infrasound theory. This one doesn't need weapons. It needs wind, strong swirling wind. So scientists call it the Karmata vortex effect. On certain slopes, air currents can hum at low frequency. It's too low for human ears, but bodies feel it. Infrasound rattles the brain. It sparks dread, confusion, panic. Victims flee irrationally, slashing tents, running barefoot, all explained. Their injuries caused by frantic falls down the ravine, the crushed bones from impact, the burned hands from frantic fire building, the eyes and tongue lost later. Simple, terrifying, panic born from sound no one could hear. Infrasound fits some evidence, but not all. Radiation lingers unexplained, and locals swear by the fireballs overhead. Maybe both things happened. Explosions in the sky created infrasound waves. Panic spread like wildfire. The group tore out of the tent. Some froze, some fell, some survived for hours, only to collapse later. This hybrid theory is gaining traction. Scientists in recent years recreated conditions. Computer models show avalanches were unlikely, but infrasound, possible, even probable. Add military tests nearby, and you have chaos. A perfect storm of fear and danger, which leads us to another twist: parachute mines. Soviet parachute mines drifted down silently. They detonated close to the ground. Shock waves could break ribs without external wounds. Hikers fleeing in confusion might have run right into blasts. It explains the lights in the sky and the bizarre injuries. Plus, it would explain why authorities stayed quiet. Admitting secret tests killed civilians. Possible in the USSR. And so, files were closed, families left with silence. After the bodies were buried, questions lingered. Families wanted answers, but Soviet officials stayed vague. Compelling natural force was all they wrote. No names, no explanations, just silence. The case files were sealed. Journalists were warned off. Whispers filled the void. UFO believers claimed aliens killed the hikers. Military skeptics pointed to weapons tests. Locals clung to legends of mountain spirits. Each theory gained its own following, and the hikers' graves became sites of pilgrimage. By the 1970s, the Dyatlov Pass Incident was folklore. Russians swapped theories in hushed tones. Westerners only heard fragments. The Cold War kept files hidden. Then came Glasnost in the 1980s. The Soviet Union cracked open. Researchers gained limited access. Photos and diaries surfaced. They showed happy hikers before the end, and evidence of panic after. The world was hooked. Books poured out. Documentaries aired. The case became global, but still unsolved. In the 1990s, survivors of the search teams gave interviews. They recalled glowing orbs in the sky, fireballs hanging above the mountains. Their testimonies reignited the weapons test theory. Some even suggested cover-ups stretched for decades. Then came scientists with computers. Modern simulations attacked the avalanche theory. Too steep? No, too shallow. Snow couldn't build up that way. But new models in 2021 changed things. They showed a small slab avalanche was possible. Not massive, but deadly. The snow slab might have crashed onto the tent. The hikers panicked, cut their way out, fled. Some froze, others fell, others suffered crush injuries. A neat solution, on paper. But critics pointed out flaws. The injuries didn't match perfectly. Radiation remained unexplained. The missing tongue and eyes were still bizarre. Why no avalanche debris? So the mystery persisted. Another theory gained traction in the 2000s. Infrasound panic. Engineers tested mountain wind models. They found vortexes could create low-frequency waves. Hikers could have panicked in terror, fled barefoot irrationally. Injuries explained by falls. But skeptics asked, why only this group, and not countless others in the same mountains? Yeah, no perfect fit. Theories kept colliding. Military mines, rocket debris, parachute bombs, secret radiation experiments, all combined. The Dyatlov Pass became a canvas for conspiracy. Each new declassified file added fuel. A line about bright flying spheres, a note on radioactivity. Families demanded reopening. Sometimes they got it. In 2019, Russia's prosecutor general reopened the case. Hope soared. New science. Fresh eyes. Finally, answers. Investigators focused on natural causes. They examined weather, avalanches, hypothermia. The result? Officially blamed an avalanche. Again, families were furious. Too simple, they said. Too neat. The mystery deserved more. The Dyatlov Pass incident stayed unsolved in hearts and minds. And maybe that's why it endures. Because no single theory explains everything. Radiation, trauma, panic, fireballs in the sky, a slashed tent, frozen bodies scattered across snow. It's too much for one tidy answer. Too many missing pieces. Too much silence from the past. And so, the Dyatlov Pass remains what it always was. A chilling puzzle buried in the snow.
That's it for today's Forgotten Tale. If this story made you raise an eyebrow don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that dusty little bell so you never miss another echo from the past. Drop it in the comments. We're always listening for new echoes. Got a weird bit of history you think we should cover? Until next time, keep your curiosity loud and your history weird.